Hey everyone, how's it going? This is Kill10Rats. Welcome back to the Age of Decadence. We are still playing as the Gaul, our drifter in the town of Teron in the post-apocalyptic Roman Empire, and we've made a bit of an impact. We've joined the Merchants Guild, or rather the Commercium, and also have declared our loyalties to House Daratan more accidentally than on purpose, but I don't know, I like the idea of siding with the underdog, which is probably a horrible idea in this game, but you never know. We also got this nice armor here from our friend who we helped. Not that we really want to ever fight, but maybe it makes us look a little more respectable, so I guess we're gonna put it on. Let's have a look what's on the agenda, shall we? Okay, we can talk to Antidas to get rid of this ring, the fake ring for, you know, for that Fung provided us with for helping him. Let's get that out of the way first. I think that's probably the easiest thing we can do. And then I think we should try to solve the issue with House Aurelian and their little mining outpost. Of course, we'll solve it verbally because, believe me, we will not last a round and a half if we enter combat with anyone in this game right now. We'll talk to Dellar. Please take me to Antidas. And now we have our streetwise here. My lord, this ring has been in my family for generations, given to my forefathers for safekeeping by General Galbo himself. It is without a doubt one of the most important relics of the Empire, and its reappearance is a great omen. It is yours, my lord. The Galbo's ring? Could it be? Send for Fung now. Yes, indeed. Trusting Fung is a really good idea, my lord. Maybe if we eventually sort of grow to like this guy a little more, we could, I don't know, shit-can Fung in some way. Half an hour later, Fung shows up and gives the best theatrical performance you've ever seen. If you didn't know better, well, Antidas doesn't. Besides, deep down he wants to believe. He buys the whole act and puts the ring on his finger with a shaking hand, probably expecting the ghost of General Galbo to appear and bless him. A ring for a ring, says Antidas. He takes off a heavy gold ring with the Daratan's insignia and gives it to you. And our reputation increased, and we've gained some skill points. Now we've got lore 4. That should actually be enough to resolve the problem with House Aurelian. Let's try it quickly. We will head to the world map. Go over to the mining outpost, and the nice thing is that if you have the disguise in your inventory, and sometimes even if you don't, you usually have a dialogue option that gets you to put it on, so we can use the dress as lore master option here. Sitting in the shadow of the mountain, the Aurelian outpost is protected from prying eyes by a tall wooden palisade that circles it. A guard watches you approach from atop a wooden guard tower, his high vantage point offering him an unobstructed view of the road leading to the camp. Another guard is posted at the entrance to the outpost behind a small barricade. I'm not even sure if you were to want to fight here, how you'd actually do that, considering, I don't know, even if you build your character purely for combat, you're probably gonna get owned here. So, yeah, we're gonna dress as a lore master and approach the mine. And the guard says, this area is claimed by House Aurelian, says the guard. Turn around and leave. A crossbowman in the watchtower takes aim, waiting for your reaction. This will not end well because we don't have disguise. So we're not Saurep, but we're a skilled lore master. So I'm not here to cause trouble. I'm a skilled lore master. Would you have any work for me by any chance? The Decanus says, wait here. A few minutes later, the guard returns, followed by a Decanus with quick, suspicious eyes. Without wasting time on pleasantries, he shows you a small glass tube encased in elaborate metal framework. The tube contains what appears to be constantly shifting liquid fire. Do you know what this is? And our lore now informs us that I most certainly do. The Magi of old used to craft such holy vessels to contain the essence of the divine, the very breath of a god. It is said that with such a relic one can breathe life into any machine, truly a rare and valuable find, so it's fuel basically. The Decan is not satisfied with your answer. Now tell me, Why is it that a lore master shows up on our doorstep just when we need one the most? Because the lore master we were waiting for has never arrived. I've heard a lot about Delar, but I didn't think he was this crafty, is he? Persuasion to the rescue. Teron is a small town. Master Feng is lucky to have Lord Antidus' patronage. The rest of us have no choice but to seek work elsewhere, which is why I'm here. Everyone around here knows that you're digging into some ruins. For a lore master, digging means work. Alright, you want your chance, you've got it. Get the machines working and you'll never have to beg for work again. Follow me. You follow the Decanus to the camp and into an ancient tunnel carved into the mountain. The tunnel leads into a small chamber filled with strange machines towering above you. We're still trying to clear the mine area and shafts, but it will take months. This hall, however, was mostly intact and the machines appear to be undamaged. Now, show me what you can do. As you can see here, that's where the post-apocalyptic sort of thing comes into play, because suddenly we've got all sorts of machinery and you know, industrial looking thingamajigs strewn across the place. That is a bit of a situation like in a like a Fading Suns or Warhammer 40k universe, where technology is just indistinguishable from magic. It's sort of like that old saying, I think it was Asimov who said it, like sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. Might have been Carl Sagan or someone. So we'll examine the machines. You recognize the machines from drawings and old manuscript. It looks like an ore smelting facility, but judging by how Aurelian's interest, it could be more than that. You look around until you find a control panel. It's a chaotic mess of pipes, levers, valves and dials. You move a few levers, but nothing happens. You see an opening for a small object. Put the relic inside. The Decanus carefully inserts the power tube into the opening. For a long time nothing happens, but then the console lights up and a low humming sound spreads through the cave. Recite an appropriate mantra. Now if our lore were lower, I think it would say you have no idea what the hell to do here, and then we'd basically sort of lose our chance. But I think it's high enough. It is, yeah. You put your hands on the controls and recite the commanding fire elementals to bless ore mantra. Performing the rite as you speak the ancient words. The mantra doesn't require you to understand what you're doing, but it does a good job leading you through a series of steps grouped into chapters. It's basically just like we're reciting the manual, like RTFM turns magic. Some chapters require you to watch the dials and adjust the valves to achieve divine harmony. Other chapters warn about dangers of overheating and tell you how to keep the fire elemental under control. And now we can complete the rituals, which basically would make us flip sides. We'd end up getting hauled off to Maderan and in front of the head of House Aurelian if we completed, because we'd actually set the machines back working. But we can, of course, you know, stick to our loyalties, and I think for the purpose of this playthrough, I'm okay with siding with Daratan. I do expect the character to eventually sort of build himself into a corner anyway. Like, my skill choices will probably at some point just mess this up and need me to start over, which I probably will with a sneaky type stealth assassin character then, and see what options that gives, just to show off some other side of the game. In any case, we're gonna overheat the smelter. You close the valves and push the levers up. The machine groans and shakes. You glance at the dials. It looks like you have less than 100 heartbeats before the smelter explodes, spraying molten metal everywhere and incinerating the cave. I'll be right back, watch the dials for me. And walk away. You step outside and shout. Everyone inside, the Decanus order. You're about to witness a miracle. And kaboom. The guards and workers rush inside, and a few heartbeats later, a large explosion shakes the mountain and the camp. The entrance is sealed again, this time for good. There are no survivors to spread the word of your involvement. So we have made a very clean mess. And yeah, we are now in a position where we're basically taking out this entire cohort or whatever it was. I can't remember my Roman unit numerals. I think it was more like a squadron or something. Like, I think a cohort is a lot more people than this. But yeah, we've taken out Aurelian here, so this should please Antidus and Delar. To leave the area, we actually have to step into this place here. Looks like your work here is done. Return to Teron and report to Delar. We will do that. Otherwise, you're basically stuck on that area of the map that seems to have caused some confusion. I've seen a couple of forum posts where it's like, how do I leave? It's like, okay, just go to the yellow bit. How did it go? There was a most unfortunate accident. One of the machines has exploded. There isn't much left. Unfortunate accidents are in high demand these days. You will do well, the goal. And we gain new insights, and we get a coin purse full of goodies, and our reputation increases again, which puts us at reputation 7. That's I'm not sure if this actually what this actually does or what the scale of this is yet, but it would probably influence any sort of persuasion checks that we have to make. And we have a fair amount of skill points now. Let me think. We need persuasion. I think either 5. I think at least 6. Yeah. And let's keep some on the back burner. Now, we are able to talk to Mercato to, you know, follow up on what Antidus tells us, and we can do that quickly just for the sake of getting it done, but our charisma is probably too low. There's also a door we can knock here, which is basically like a lady inside there that we can try to con, but it's a combined streetwise and I think impersonation check, so probably reliant on disguise as well, and we are too bad at it to make it work, so we'll have to either do it at some point later or just not do it at all. This game has an interesting mechanism that can really take you off guard if you play this for the first time, because if you go to Maderon, it'll make the time pass. So once you arrive in Maderon, the quests sort of auto-resolve themselves. Like, the game basically operates on the assumption that the game world doesn't center around you, so if you don't do something, someone else will. Essentially, like, if you're not finishing up the quests, they will auto-resolve without your influence, and it sort of follows a predetermined outcome. I actually kind of want to, just to make myself feel a little safer, gear up a little. So here's a blacksmith. Good. Good's a subjective word, my friend. What's good for one fighter may get another fighter killed. Look at this two-handed scimitar, for example. It's an impressive weapon, the undisputed king of swords. Its striking power is unmatched, but it comes at a price not everyone's willing to pay. It's too slow. Now this gladius is a much lighter weapon. Its advantage isn't power but speed. Same goes for armor. Nothing beats heavy armor when it comes to protecting you in battle, but don't expect to be able to move very fast if you're wrapped in sheets of metal. Actually, that's a pretty good point. We don't have much in the way of dexterity, do we? Well, we have 5. It might actually help us with some skill checks for dodging, and I'm not sure whether putting ourselves into heavy armor will influence that in some way. What else do we have? Actually, we have our toga and this armor. Let's just stick to this setup for now. Now, this is Mercato again, and if we ask him for proof, he basically tells us to bugger off and leave it at that. I think there's also someone interesting we can talk to near the... Yeah, near the barracks, but not at the barracks. There's this fellow down here. I'm not sure what the significance of his dialogue is, but it's quite interesting. There's also a storyteller in the inn itself, and the innkeep himself has a massive amount of lore dump for you if you're talking to him, so he'll tell you about the factions and all sorts of other goings on in town. We'll just have a look at a bit of that, but it's way too much info. I will talk to this guy though. Undertaker. Business or pleasure? Inquires an old man sitting on one of the graves. What do you mean? Not the brightest torch, are you, boy? If you have business with me, then you're here on business. If it's pleasure of my company that you're seeking, then that would be pleasure. Well, pleasure then. The pleasure of my company isn't free, mind you. I'm what some might call this town's historian, so if you're looking to educate your dumb self, look no further. 5 dead emperors, please. Let's pay him 5 imperials. Oh god, that's an inauspicious number. Much obliged, says the Undertaker, accepting the coins before expertly biting each one to test the gold content. So, Teron, a real pearl, isn't it? It has this rare quality that I have yet to find anywhere else. Of course, I haven't been anywhere else. Born and raised in Teron, but still, from what I hear, it's nothing but a certifiable truth. Like many towns, it started out as a camp. That's right, you heard it here first. The Imperial Army swept through this land like a tidal wave and washed away any soul that dared to oppose them. After that, the legions stopped right here, on this very spot that you now stand on, and made a proper camp with rampart stakes, the works. It was a clever strategy, seeing as how such camps were a series of stepping stones going in every direction, ensuring that the army was never more than a day away from the nearest base and supplies. See, back in the day they really knew how to run things, and make some sense out of them. You see, that's what we're missing today. So, out of all the camps in the area, this one was chosen to become a town, a foundation, a pillar of strength, a hold of the conquered territory. And guess what? We're still here. We're still holding the line. So many towns had crumbled into dust, yet Teron's still standing. Now that's something to be proud of, ain't it? So now what? Now we stand until relieved. The Empire will rise again, and when it does, Teron will be restored to its former glory and will shine again. You'll see. Do you truly believe that? We are the scions of the Empire. It's in our blood. All we have to do is show the gods that we're worthy, that we still have the fucking balls. Of course, I don't see it happening anytime soon, at least not while the laws are squabbling. Which house do you support? There is only one true house, and that's Daratan. Before the war, no house was mightier or more decorated. The lords of Daratan have always stood one step behind the Emperor, which was the highest honor. Now it's up to Antidus to take a step forward and assume the mantle. What about Aurelian and Crassus? Aurelian? When have they ever done anything? Ha! It was a third-rate house that never amounted to anything other than seizing Madaran. As for House Crassus, it was a house of magi. Good for fucking things up, but little else, you know. Seeing as how that magic's gone from the world, they are as useless as tits on a bull. And how do you know all that? I used to serve a lore master right up until he died. He was a man of learning, a real scholar. He taught me letters so that I could serve him better and gave me scrolls to read. Now I'm an educated man, able to make a comfortable living. Thanks for the story. So this was apparently the apprentice to the lore master that Fung got rid of. Oh, we can't talk business anymore? Okay. As far as Crassus goes, the preacher on the market square that we saw, that I threw a rock at, I probably shouldn't have done that. It was just too tempting not to, because there was actually quite a hilarious bit of dialogue that you can pull off if you have the required stats. It's mostly persuasion and streetwise, so we probably would have been able to make these checks, because in the end you can sort of convince that this is the life of Brian moment of this game. You can sort of convince him, just in reverse, sort of. You can convince him that you're the messiah, sort of, that he's been waiting for, like the scion of the old gods come again and returned to rebuild the fallen, you know, to former glory and whatnot. It's pretty funny. Maybe we can do that at some point. Like maybe I'll have a save and I can just show it off. I'll see if I can make that work somehow. But for the moment, let's just focus on the current character. It's a chance that it's come and gone. I just walk here because I wanted to show off these random events. As you walk down the street, you see a young woman running from a drunken mercenary. Please, you must help me. Not random events, actually. Sorry about that. This is a scripted event, but it sort of triggers. If you walk a certain pace, you have no way to see the characters beforehand. That's what I actually meant. Please, you must help me, cries the girl, grabbing her arm pleadingly. The mercenary takes another step towards her, and the girl darts behind you as if to shield herself from him. The bitch owes me money, yells the mercenary. 8 imperials, who's gonna pay me? You? And Streetwise says, we have a feeling that something's wrong. Suddenly you become aware that the situation isn't what it seems. The mercenary's anger seems fake, and the girl is sobbing and clinging to you in an almost theatrical manner. You also become aware that her hands are too close to your money. Grab her. Failure. The girl senses the change in you and jumps back before you're able to grab her. She shouts something to her partner and they quickly disappear between houses. You can get a few skill points this way, just by doing these random events. And it's not inadvisable. I think there's another one out here by the kebab man. Where is he? There he is, yeah. Let's just have a look at it. There's also, of course, the gold that we can go after, but resolving that one without fighting, I'm not sure what the skill setup is you need for that, but it seems to involve a crap ton of streetwise. Not sure we can make that happen. So, it's a small shanty town growing up outside the walls. The close proximity to the town provides good protection at a fraction of the price paid by the town dwellers. It's just safe until, you know, just in case we die. And let's talk to the guy. You see a dark-skinned man cooking kebabs over hot coals. Come, he says with a strange accent. Good food, very cheap, special recipe, make you strong, like ox. Do you know anyone who's been buying supplies on a regular basis lately, enough to feed a camp full of soldiers? So that's still something we can do as an investigation. Can also, for Aurelian, even though we've already resolved that, we can also talk to the merchants in a square, but I haven't really found the one yet that lets us actually find out who is supplying them. Not that it matters, they're dead anyway. So we'll throw him a coin. You're about to put your money away when suddenly a man standing nearby snatches the coin bag out of your hand and starts running, pushing people out of his way and calling for help. We run after him, and fortunately you fail. You run after the thief, but he's too fast and you quickly lose the sight of him and give up. And you didn't take your kebab. Here, he gives you a stick with several small pieces of sizzling meat skewers on it. The meat is chewy but flavorful. It doesn't make you feel any stronger though. Not that you really expected it, of course. So we've lost 20. Oh, we actually didn't gain any insight from it. Oh, that's unfortunate. Oh well. The thing is, if I remember this one correctly, with one character that I played, if you actually catch up to him, he'll turn this situation around on you, and he's a pretty good talker, so he makes the guard believe that you're trying to rob him, and then in the end you sort of end up having to fight a guard, or sort of having to give yourself up to the guards. It's a bit unfortunate. Right, what do you have? We have the talk of proof, find the gold. Yeah, let's finish up by doing this here. This is something that I want to get done right now because we can't do anything with the gold. Let's quickly check our skill set. So persuasion 6, that should actually be enough. So what we have to do is basically we have to make a choice here. You see the Imperial Guard's barracks that look like a small fort. A recruitment post says, join the army, see the world, meet interesting people and kill them. Hard to say no when they put it like that. And here's a few crucified men as decoration. This one's still alive. Imperial Guards are fond of crucifying those they deem criminals and displaying them for all to see as a reminder of services rendered and a warning to those who might consider getting on their bad side. Yeah, charming bunch. Now, if we get closer, we have to make a decision. We're about to approach the barracks. Now would be a good time to go through your options. Put some merchants' robes and approach the entrance to the barracks, or talk to Corinnas and offer him your service. We can basically flip now. Like if we choose this, we basically offer Corinnas our services and rat everyone out and sort of side with the guards and help them take on the town. But we will put on the merchant robes and approach the entrance. You approach the entrance to the barracks from the Merchants Guild. Ask one of the guards. You nod and he opens the gate for you. The commander is waiting for you. Another guard takes you to the commander's office. The office is simple. A bed, a table with papers, a soldier's chest. Something tells you that the chest contains nothing but armor and basic supplies. You hear about the caravan? Let me assure you that we're doing everything in our power. I need your personal guarantee that the roads are safe. You have my word. Now, etiquette we suck at and trading we suck at, but that's not a problem. Like, we'll try trading. When it comes to business, our guild prefers to rely on carefully worded documents, not on one's honor. If you want the support of our guild... What do you know about honor, merchant? And here our persuasion comes in to save our ass again. I've seen enough beggared nobles and crippled legionnaires to know that honor and money go together. Different sides of the same coin, I might say. Very well. Corinna sends for a quill and some parchment, and within minutes you're holding a document written and signed by Commander Corinnas. You've more than enough to forge a document now. And that's all we came for, so we go back to Linus. Or Linos, it really sort of depends on how you want to pronounce these. I'm gonna save because I'm not sure we have the requisite skill points, but I think we do. Otherwise we need to put something more in. What is it, the Gaul? About the proof. Any news? I have everything I need to forge the evidence. Let's see what you can do. Perception and lore. Oh yeah, that should definitely be enough. Success. You study Corinna's handwriting, then write a letter to Caer Tor. You don't want to make it too obvious, so your letter isn't a plain confession, but a response to imaginary objections raised by the Caer Tor. The nature of the objections makes it very clear what Corinna's plan is. Linus examines the letter carefully, comparing it to the original, then gives it back to you, nodding his head in approval. I've never seen a better job. You're a true artist. Take it to Antidus. And we do that. So now we have enough to basically bring things to a head and force Antidus' hand to strike first. We talk to Deller and get ourselves through to Antidus. We can ask him about the caravans, but about his past as a caravan raider, but our charisma isn't high enough for him to open up. It better be important. Here's the proof, my lord. Antidus opens the scroll and looks at it for a long time, being lost in his thoughts. Finally, he carefully puts the document away and says, Corinnas is a dead man. You've done well, the Gaul. However, Antidus looks straight at you. If the Merchant Guild is so interested in seeing the Imperial Guards decimated, I expect them to contribute to such a cause very, very generously. I'm not sure decimated is the right words, since we want them all dead and not just 1 out of 10 men, but, you know, semantics. How generously, my lord? Meaning, like, how much does he want us to pay? Waging wars is a very costly business. We can start with 50,000 in gold. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have more pressing matters to attend to. I'll let Master Linus know. How'd it go? I've convinced Antidus, but he wants 50,000 Imperials. He wants our money? Linus' lips twist into a smile. Splendid. And our reputation goes up. Intelligence. Indeed, once we start paying his bills, it's only a matter of time until we start telling him what to do. You've learned your lessons well, the Gaul. You have a bright future ahead of you. Now it's been a long day for you. Go rest and see me in the morning. Why do you need to control Antidus? For the same reason we employ mercenary companies. Money is hard to make, but easy to lose. One must always be aware of potential threats. The biggest threat is always the lords, for they can take everything in the blink of an eye. They could drown us in levies. Pay for this right, pay for that privilege, and before you know it, our profits are diverted to Antidus' treasury. They can seize our assets, claiming that we've conspired with the enemy. Considering that we do business with House Aurelian, it won't be a hard sell. House Daraton is broke, while I'm sure Antidus will think twice before taking from us. If we leave him no choice, he'll do what he has to, as any man would. Only unlike any other man, he can do quite a lot and get away with it, simply because his blood is blue and ours is peasant red. You think it might come to it? It might not. However, if we do nothing, we leave our fate to Antidus. That's something I just can't be comfortable with. I'm sure that Antidus will be equally uncomfortable with your hand on his shoulder. Uneasy lies the head that wears the crown, sighs Linus. I merely want to share that burden. If managed properly, both Teron and House Daraton could be so much more. Antidus dreams of battlefields and glory. He needs a capable administrator. We have the money, the reach, the experience. The time has finally come, the Gaul. So what do you think of him, of Antidus? Antidus is a lord, and like the rest of them, he lived in his own world, far removed from reality. Great lords are aware of it and surround themselves with capable generals and administrators heeding their counsel. Lesser lords believe in their own superiority and tend to dismiss opinions of others, like Antidus. Well, if the hill won't come to you, you must go to the hill. What's your opinion of Gallius and Meru, then? Gallius has all the makings of a great lord. Unfortunately, he's too clever for his own good, and that makes him more dangerous than Antidus and Meru combined. Antidus wants a larger piece of the pie. Gallius wants it all, and unless we find a way to stop him, he'll get there eventually. As for Meru, he's just an idiot. Just an idiot? That's what the report I'm getting suggests. At first, I thought it was some clever ploy that I just couldn't grasp. but it does look like he believes in what he's preaching. He has no interest in anything but these gods of his, so Meru is the head of House Crassus. So he wasn't always a believer? There was a time when Meru was a reasonable man, as reasonable as you can expect a lord to be. Then, almost overnight, he became a zealot. Some say literally overnight. Literally? When his father died of old age, Meru was taken into the bowels of Castle Ganazar for some ritual. Keep in mind, it's House Crassus we're talking about. I don't think they can do anything without performing a ritual first, so it's hardly surprising that they have a ritual for becoming a new lord of their house. What's surprising and even ironic is that Meru's priorities shifted after the ritual. He doesn't even call himself a lord anymore. How do you know all that? Forewarned is forearmed. We pay well for information. Some people are eager to work for us. Others might require a little push, like our new friend Mercato. So do the reports shed any light on what affected Meru so? The lower levels of Castle Ganazar are sealed. Only a lord of House Crassus and his retinue can enter. Considering the history of their house, they probably keep out relics there. The history of their house? It is said that their house played a key role in the summoning that brought the High Lords to our aid. They built temples for these lords and spent day and night there learning from them. And then? And then the High Lords departed, and the temples were sealed in wait for their return or something equally dramatic. It's not a subject I was ever interested in. Alright, I'll see you in the morning. Have you heard the news yet? It was a very busy night. Commander Carinus was assassinated. The guards didn't take it well. They stormed the Assassin's Guild and burned it down, but didn't finish the job. The Layers and a few survivors infiltrated the barracks in the middle of the night and killed everyone in their path. None of them has made it out alive, unfortunately. As for the Imperial Guards, while I would have settled for less, Nelea's final gesture has presented us with an opportunity to deal with the guards once and for all. We can't let them rebuild, this much is clear. We can force the remaining guards to join House Daratan, but I'm afraid to make Antidus too strong and thus too hard to control. Alternatively, we can convince Antidus to finish them off, but it's a waste of resources. Let's make it your call. So we have a decision to make, we have triggered a pretty significant event, and we have more skill points. All in all, I'd say that's a pretty good point in the game to take a break. I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.